The autumn sun filtered through the ancient oak trees of Willowbrook Park, casting dancing shadows on the playground where children's laughter usually echoed like wind chimes. But today, in the far corner near the weathered wooden fence, a different sound cut through the air, the soft, hiccuping sobs of a child who believed she was alone. Emily sat cross-legged on the ground, her small hands trembling as they held the shattered pieces of what had once been her most treasured possession. The ceramic dragon figurine, with its intricate scales painted in shades of emerald and gold, now lay in fragments across her lap. Her father had given it to her before he left for his long deployment overseas, telling her that dragons were brave and strong, just like she needed to be while he was away, just like you. Little dragon, he had whispered, tapping her nose gently. Fierce and magical, but now the dragon wasn't fierce or magical anymore. It was broken, just like the promise she had made to keep it safe. Emily's tears fell freely, darkening the dusty ground beneath her. She didn't notice the approaching footsteps, didn't hear the cautious rustling of leaves as someone drew near. Ethan had been climbing the twisted branches of the oak tree when he first heard the crying. At 7 years old, he considered himself an expert climber and an even better observer of the world below. From his perch, he could see Emily hunched over something, her shoulders shaking with the force of her grief. Most kids would have ignored her crying. Girls were complicated, and Ethan's friends always said it was best to stay away from tears. But Ethan wasn't most kids. He remembered something his father had told him just last week, when they'd found a bird with a broken wing in their backyard. Carefully, Ethan climbed down from the tree, his sneakers finding familiar footholds in the bark. When he reached the ground, he brushed the dirt from his jeans and walked slowly toward Emily, as if approaching a frightened animal. He could see now what she was holding, pieces of ceramic, glinting in the scattered sunlight. "Are you okay?" he asked softly, keeping a respectful distance. Emily's head snapped up, her eyes red and puffy. She quickly tried to wipe her tears with the back of her hand, smearing dirt across her freckled cheeks. "Go away," she said, but there was no real anger in her voice, only a deep, aching sadness. Ethan didn't go away. Instead, he sat down on the ground a few feet from her, crossing his legs in a mirror of her position. "What happened to your dragon?" he asked, nodding toward the broken pieces. "I dropped it," Emily whispered, her voice cracking. "I was showing it to Maya, and I dropped it, and now it's ruined. My dad gave it to me, and I ruined it." Fresh tears welled up in her eyes, threatening to spill over again. Ethan was quiet for a moment, thinking about the bird and his father's gentle hands as they'd fashioned a small splint from popsicle sticks. He thought about the way his father had smiled when the bird finally flew away weeks later, stronger than before. "My father said broken things deserve care," Ethan said finally, his voice carrying a wisdom beyond his years. He said that sometimes the broken things need love more than the perfect things do. Emily looked at him skeptically, her lower lip trembling. "But it's broken. I can't fix it. Nobody can fix it. Can I see?" Ethan asked, extending his hand cautiously. After a moment's hesitation, Emily carefully passed him the largest piece, the dragon's head, with one gleaming eye still intact and the delicate curve of its neck ending in a jagged edge. Ethan turned it over in his hands, examining it with the seriousness of a jeweler appraising a precious stone. "My mom has special glue," he said thoughtfully. "She fixes broken plates and cups all the time. She says the Japanese have this thing called kintsugi. They fix broken pottery with gold, and it makes it even more beautiful than before." The cracks become part of the story. Emily sniffled, watching him carefully. Really, Ethan confirmed, meeting her gaze with earnest brown eyes. "She says nothing is ever really ruined unless you throw it away. Everything that's broken can be cared for. That's what makes us different from the broken things. We can choose to help them." He carefully placed the dragon's head back in Emily's palm, then started gathering the other pieces scattered around them. Emily watched him for a moment before joining in, their small hands working together to collect every shard and fragment. "Why are you helping me?" Emily asked quietly as they worked. "You don't even know me," Ethan shrugged, but his expression was serious. "My father said that when someone's hurting, you don't need to know them to help. You just need to care. And besides," he added with a small smile, "dragons are cool." even broken ones, maybe especially broken ones, because they get to become something new. They sat together in comfortable silence, creating a small pile of ceramic pieces between them. The afternoon light grew softer, painting everything in shades of amber and gold. Other children's voices drifted over from the playground, but in their quiet corner, Emily and Ethan had created a small sanctuary of compassion. "Do you think your mom would really help fix it?" Emily asked, hope creeping into her voice like the first flower of spring. "I know she would," Ethan said confidently. "And I'll help too. We'll make your dragon strong again. Maybe even stronger than before, because it will have survived being broken." Emily smiled then, small but genuine, the first real smile since the dragon had fallen. She carefully gathered the pieces into her pocket, protecting them as if they were dragon eggs waiting to hatch. "Thank you, Ethan," she said softly. "You're welcome, dragon child," he replied with a grin as they walked together toward the park entrance, their shadows stretching long behind them. Neither child knew that this moment would mark the beginning of a friendship that would last for years. They didn't know that Emily would keep the mended dragon on her shelf through high school and college, its golden glued cracks a reminder that broken things and broken hearts deserve care and patience. They didn't know that Ethan would grow up to become a teacher, passing his father's wisdom to countless children who needed to hear that being broken wasn't the end of the story. All they knew was that sometimes the most magical thing wasn't staying perfect. It was learning that broken pieces, when handled with care, could become something beautiful again. And that was enough.